Mm-hmm. Chill zone. Going to be very mindful from now on the type of videos or music I put on videos. I don't want to get in trouble. I just a little bit excited or greetings. I was I was saying I'm gonna be more careful about music I include in videos and stuff so I don't get in trouble, lose content, whatever it happens. But that's fine. So I sent some messages to the YouTube, letting them know that. But aside from that, moving along, I decided today, I would send a certain person a message who had done a lot of, say, personal emotional harm to me. And that was a guy, a friend of mine. I forgive him though. Just say he ripped me off a lot of money, but that's not the thing. I don't care about the money. It's knowing somebody for, say, 25, 30 years of music is not anything that is light. You know what I'm saying? That is a long history and long memory. Sometimes things happen to you in life. Life beats the shit out of you, right? Turning this up. And the person I'm talking about, he survived a lot of shit. He went through more pain than any person I could think of right offhand. Right. So when he rolled down the cliffside after a gathering, I was supposed to be in that van. Okay. So that van rolled down 250 feet. Every single person in the vehicle survived. Wow. It is wow. And so even though he did some bad shit to me, I look at it like this. Have your total reality ripped apart. Like he was an amazing musician. And I don't know what happened, why he decided to do what he did. I wasn't in his position. But it equated to $1,500 disappearing that was supposed to go for my studio, right? But I wanted to remember my friend who passed away. See, one person made it. He survived that. My other friend who ran off the cliff did not. One was an accident, one was not. So I don't know why he chose to do that, but you can see similar situations to where my friend had pins all the way up and down his leg. It was a sight to see. I remember when he was in a wheelchair, but I had another friend of mine. He was from Nigeria, Africa, and he broke his neck during a wrestling match. And he survived that. And the only reason he did not become a complete quadriplegic was that his muscles were so strong in his neck that it held the broken vertebrae in place. He said, wow, yes. So when he was in high school, he was a tall, muscular African, and he had to have these bolts drilled into his head. So there's a halo. So there was other damage that had occurred. But that was brace that was done to hold his head in place so that the vertebrae could fuse and heal correctly, right? Calcify, the bone will harden, that type of thing. So me getting hit in the head by the Black Knight in the side of my helmet at the rate of speed he was going, I discussed it before. Cutting of the cabbage with your back to the rope, and the knight's riding down. You're supposed to they're supposed to slow down, and there's a trust factor. You know what I'm saying? So he broke trust with me, and that was why that was my last show. Put my life at risk and got away with it. It is what it is. My other friend didn't do that. He may have taken some money and whatever, but he never put my life at risk. You know, walk up to you, hey brother, how are you doing? You know, give him a hug, you know him from the circle, whatever it is. That's why it's a big deal, because I had never done anything to him to deserve that. You know. So today I decided I'll just send him a message on Facebook and say, hey Holmes, it's over. Not holding anything against you, looking at current circumstances the way it is. And so I sent another female friend of mine a message and boosted her up in a positive way. As a friend, I call her sister. There's a big difference between that and treating somebody like they're your hoe, right? That's wrong. I don't treat the women around me like that. Not ever. So, you know, sometimes guys can misread situations thinking, oh, he's nice, so he must have. Why? Because the other men act that way. So there is an assumption of intent. But I don't think that was the case or reason why. Okay, but you're left wondering, why the hell did this person do this bad shit to me? Right before I'm about to get my studio going, that gets sabotaged to the point where I go to the mental hospital for a week. That bad. And it was because every trigger that I had was pushed all at once. My friend's suicide, the playing on friendship for that, we were going to go to Hawaii and celebrate my friend's life, you know, the one that died there. He ran off a 250-foot cliff, and we buried his ashes in the mountain. So today I'm like, you know, I've been holding on to that a long time. Months and months and months since last year when that happened, prior to the hospital visit for a week. Fortunately, I'm a strong person and I pulled out of it, but I think about people who are not that strong. And all of a sudden they're challenged. There's a breakdown in society. And now what? So I said, you know what? If that's reality, like if shit goes that far south, I would still tell him, even though he screwed me over, I don't hate you. I forgive you and move forward on a personal level. And then it is up to him whether he honors that or does not. See what I'm saying? Because that's a big reach for me to let go what he did to me. Especially after not earning it. If I had done some bad shit, let's say you had slept with somebody's wife, you better goddamn well fucking know that man is going to be pissed. And you sure as hell shouldn't have done that. That never happened. I have not crossed that line. Not ever. Nope. Mm-mm. I hold that sacred. I put it this way. I look at it on the same level as like that Rob Roy duel, where that dude disrespected and raped his wife. What was his response? Duel to the death. That's some serious shit. Grabbed the blade and he was like, all right. Robert McGregor. The sword came all the way down below the nipple. That's a hard goddamn hit. That was a level of rage he had. Doesn't it make sense that people would respond that way? But you're in a situation too where even after, say, the split, there's a territorial situation where there's, I never dated her, I never hooked up with her, nothing. But I thought, well, what the hell? And then she would walk, oh, hi, Robert, how are you doing? And friendly. Oh, hi, sister. Give her a hug. But the other guy could look at the situation and be like, fuck you. Even though that's a bad attitude, it happens. But what is her right? Her right in the situation is to choose her own path, especially no children in the way or anything like that. That's overstepping boundaries. So, what is it all about? Boundaries. What is a circle? It is a boundary, it is a gathering. So, we had rules, unwritten, known rules out the circle. There's a certain way you act, and there is a certain way you don't act. And I watched a bunch of those old drum circles, some few clips that exist. See if I could find myself in there, whatever, Liberty Park. I was looking through at some of the Earth Jam videos and finding some of those maypole rituals that we did. This one year, I helped set the post, and then the high priestesses would bless the circle, whatever. But we had a maypole dance, every year at Liberty Park. Very pagan, extremely. I'm like, whoa. You have to like pinch yourself. Am I in Utah? You know what I'm saying? But that was the response, the extreme response to the whole Mormon oppression culture. That's how we felt in our community. So you're kind of dealing with a lot of, say, people who were raised in Mormonism that went to paganism as an escape from all the depression and negativity associated therewith. So that's why the drum circle was such a big deal. It was a central gathering place, right? And you would have people from different traditions, different walks of life that would come there, but there was a comprehension, understanding, and knowing that respect was given in the circle. There are, like I said, that's why I know tribal culture inside and out. I have lived it. There's a big difference between that and reading in a book and trying to whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's this simple. You play music. You send out love to your, grandmother, grandfather. They show up. Do I feel that? Yes, I do. In the same way, if we act honorably, then we are invited to sit in their inner circle versus being seen as unworthy. And why wouldn't you be if you were dishonorable? But if you were honorable in the circle, and let's say someone had come along and dishonored you in front of the whole circle, let's say high priestess, druidess, whoever it is, there would be a response from the honorable people in that circle saying, no, you may not. And that should be the response. It almost brought a tear to my eye when I was watching too, because you see like an older lady, 50s, 60s, and there's this little girl and she wants to play. So she comes up to her and dances in the circle. These are next generation pagan kids where I didn't get that. I had to go earn it. I had to work hard. I had to seek it out. That doesn't mean they won't honor it. They will not have the same perspective. They will honor it. They just don't realize it. Like I knew some people like that where their mom was a witch or something. You know what I mean? One of my female friends. And in Utah, that was somewhat unusual. Now, especially say back in the 90s, it was still like almost like the 1950s here. I don't know how to explain that to people that didn't grow up here, but it just became so normal to me to have witches and pagans around me. It just became normal life to where I couldn't relate to, say, the whole mainstream Mormon bullshit. How can I? I don't sit there. I don't go to church. That's not my social group. So now these people have to form their own little circles because they cannot gather in large groups. So now I'm looking at it going, wow, does this mean even say at Liberty Park or something for a drum circle, that now, right, the 6 degrees of separation, you've heard that, right? That's what's up. And now that and the overall flow of being connected to, say, the web of weird or web of word, whatever, right? So you have your inner circle tribal community, that's your grandmother, grandfather. And now I look at it as then you have circles that are kind of going out from that, right? In the center is your highest level of trust and love, whoever it is. And that is what has to be honored. And that was what was dishonored by what happened to me. To the point where, let's say, an old drumstick I played with for years and years and years in the circle, that was thrown in the trash can by my own mother. That's the level of ignorance. She didn't see the significance of that. I did. That came from a place called Dead Horse Point, where we had a gathering. We were down there drumming for, I don't know, 3 days or something. Some people I knew from the circle, we went there. And then I think on the third day, it was nighttime. We were around the fire. We'd been drumming, my old school friends. And all of a sudden, piece of the side of the wall from the vibration fell off and hit the ground. Whoa. And it was like that earthquake. And I mean, go boom. It felt like a bomb went off. That is how loud the vibration was from when it struck the ground. And I'm like, it's the end of the world. And I'm like, no, it wasn't, but it felt like it. And then I carved that drumstick from that, from like a tree that was down in the base of the where we went, because you had to drive down into it like a bowl, right? But it was really awesome to drum down in there. We were far enough away from the walls to where we didn't get hit with debris or whatever. But I'd say, had you been anywhere near that camping, I could have done some serious damage. Smash. Right. Anyway, so I sent my sister, I'm not going to say her name, I'll just call her sister, some positive vibes. And she's, Nordic origin and, background. She's witch. And she's really cool. She was always cool to me. And I never walked up to her thinking, ooh, I want, I need. No, it was honor, like, wow, look at this beautiful, kind, loving woman. Is that not the view I should have? With honor. Yes, absolutely. So if I walk up to her, kind of casting what I want onto that person, that's wrong. Okay. Guys saw a couple videos on these whole, what is it called? Witches balls. I've never been into that stuff. I don't know. But I'm going to make a point. They are concentrating their energy outside of their being. All right. They are putting it into a little ball or whatever it is. Let me tell you from a masculine perspective how that might be used against men in a not so nice way. Basically, they use the witch's ball as a curse or weapon. You getting what I'm saying here? They will concentrate on a man's testicles. This is my opinion. Is it inappropriate content? Yes, it is. But I'm going to discuss it because I do not feel targeting people's sexuality should be used as a weapon, and that is one of the worst, foulest things you could do to someone. Now, why? Because the sacred seed that is in there, and this is what a lot of people don't get in modern culture, is a direct link to your family bloodline. So let's say a woman does that to a man and he did not deserve that, or another man does it to another man. Let's say it's a gay guy that wants a straight guy or wants to get revenge on him. Who cares if he's gay? I don't give a shit. I know gay people that do not act like that whatsoever at all. They have honor code, right? Whether you're straight, bisexual, gay, whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't do that to other people. So let's say that people have been doing that and playing with that and thinking that is cool. Now, let's consider they got a group of people together and did that to one person. And they continually target people within their group, taking energy from that person's, or rather the man's nutsack. Is that right? No, that's called robbing the well. That is the well of the what becomes a child. When I put it at that level, let's say spiritually speaking, there's a record of everything you do. Let's say you've done that in front of your grandmother and grandfather, and they now know, and you did it in the open. Wow. What is the level of response? I would say very, very serious. Honoring personal relationship, sovereignty, and the sanctity of the individual. Let's take, for instance, the whole Me Too movement. What was that all about? Exactly what I just said, except in the opposite view, where you have somebody like Weinstein taking advantage of young women who are in a position to want something from him. How could I relate to that? Using, say, a man's loneliness to get access to his sexual energy. Now, let's say that expands into the astral realm, and they are now projecting into your dream, pretending to be your romantic interest when they are not. What am I talking about? Some very serious stuff. In my opinion, that is what has been happening to me. And I don't appreciate it, so I'm making it public. That's what's up. That's how I feel. And that had been going on prior to all of this breakdown and all of that. Knowing that you would be sensitive, right? That's when they target you. That's my opinion. Kind of like teasing somebody and razzing them, thinking it's hilarious that you have some power, right? Abuse of power. Is it impressive to have a big bully picking on a child? No, it isn't. Neither is it impressive to have a huge group of people do it to one person and then think they're powerful as they drain that person dry. That is my opinion. Now, is this a very serious topic? Yes, it is. And it surely is not easy for me to talk about, but I'm talking about it. So let's say, is the witch's ball bad? No. It can be neutral. Uses, positive or negative. But doing things like that, what are you inviting from, say, the other realm, to hang out in your little witch's ball. Hear what I'm saying? Anyway, love and respect at the center of the circle, and the central flame is my response to that. So I would say, no matter what happens, I hold my ground, and I will hold honor. They choose to not hold it, that's on them, not me. I choose a high level of honor. What other response can I have? I don't have any other response but that. It has gotten to the point of harassment that I'm making this video. What does that tell you? I'm out here alone, a solitary. What protection do I have when a whole goddamn coven of people decide to target me? I have myself, and that is it. And my grandparents, my grandmother and grandfather, that's why I called to them. That is how intense it has become. Now I have the earthquake and other things going on. Am I freaking out? I'm rooted. I learned my lesson after being disrupted to that point and said, never again will I allow that to happen. But I was wounded, and that's why. That deep emotional wound in my heart was targeted and used against me. Little balls, right? One around the heart, one around the sack, third eye, whatever. They can use it in multiple ways. So in my opinion, spiritual self-defense is important. It does not mean acting like a psycho. It means the opposite. Being centered and grounded in virtue. Why did I say that? That is your only defense. Give in to the bullshit and become susceptible to that frequency of consciousness and reality. The bottom line is this. Women and men both deserve to be respected and honored, whether on a spiritual, mental, physical level, especially physical, where you realize boundaries without being told. Especially if you are, let's say you're an older person and you're playing around with sex magic. Most offensive thing you could do in front of your grandparents is treat that like a toy, because it isn't. But I took a big step today in forgiving that friend of mine. And it wasn't easy, but I said, you know what? Whatever. I'm moving forward. It's up to him what he does. But I'll say this. I am not a plaything. Not a toy. The spire on the mountain in the circle round where you honor in the circle round said fire. Yo, don't play with me, I ain't playing no game. Grandmother, grandfather, in the center of the around. Whoa, where you at? What you got when it all comes down? Sit down by the pond, by the old oak tree. I'll be sitting down there. Are you looking for me? Oh, sisters and my brothers in the circle around me, grandmother in the center. Hold the flame. Yeah. Shaking like a leaf. Oh, better stop what you're doing, young woman, young man, grandmother, grandfather in the circle around. High priestess on the way. Lords and ladies of the land. Whoa. Queens and kings. Oh. Send her to the seat of the circle around. You better wake up, which way you going down? Make more in the circle around. Yeah, that's what this is. Central to the sea, to the hearth and home. It's a place to grow and sacred song.